Hey, this is your girl Mimi West. I know it's been a while, but we are back. But we've got it all from everything from your money to your meat, because I still have the same question, and that is if your news told you about these things. Let's get into it, let's find out, and let's see. Okay, and our first story is with Apple. And yes, you see that correctly. Yeah, we did that right. You see that right. That is Apple Watches. They are getting into health insurance. So it may behoove us to read some of those little fine prints that they give us when we get our devices, because it looks like they're getting into the healthcare industry. Let's read what it says. This is from Forbes.com, and it says Apple will launch health insurance in 2024, says analysts. Apple will start to offer health insurance in 2024 as it looks to build on health data it has acquired from the Apple Watch, an analyst has predicted. CCS Insight believes that Apple will take its tentative first steps into the health insurance market in partnership with a major insurer, using the health data it's already collecting to give it a competitive edge over rivals. So if you read through it, it basically says that the Apple has already been collecting data, your blood pressure, your oxygen levels, your ECG readings, and body temperature that it's been collecting from the watches along with other devices. But now it's also saying that the analysts believe having access to such rich data will give the company a head start into the insurance market and allow it to cut costs for consumers. Now, I'm wondering what other information they collect, that we've been allowing them to collect on our smartphones and other devices. But I'm going to let you peruse the article and think about that for yourselves. Alrighty? Now let's get into the next one. Okay, moving right along to our second story. We have from USA Today. This is about your meat, and it's talking about a tick. It says, what is AGS? This tick-borne meat allergy may have affected 500,000 people, CDC says. As many as 450,000 people in the United States may have been affected by alpha-gal syndrome, or AGS, the CDC says. Also known as the red meat allergy or the tick bite meat allergy. It's an emerging, potentially life-threatening allergic condition that has mostly gone undiagnosed, they say. It says more than 110,000 people have suspected cases of alpha-gal syndrome were identified between 2010 and 2022, according to the CDC. And it has a lot that it says products that contain AGS, such as mammals that we eat meat from. It's a sugar found in the meat from mammals, such as pork, rabbit, lambs, etc., and products made from mammals like milk and things like that, as well as some pharmaceuticals and vaccines. Now keep a pin in that, and also keep a pin in this article. It also says after AGS is a serious allergic condition some people experience after they consume food or products containing alpha-gal, the CDC states. And this is definitely something to get into, because I'm not sure if many people's news have been telling them about this, but we certainly have been hearing a lot about the climate and how it's beneficial for us to cut back on eating meat. And we've also seen Prince or King Charles putting masks on cows. If you haven't seen that, check it out, because it definitely is something to see. But I want you to remember what we just said about the vaccines and AGS being found in those. Let's take a look and go over to that. Okay, and I know this is a little big, but this is actually from the CDC, And you see, it says right here, it talks about non-food products that may contain alpha gal. And if you can see, it says some medications and vaccines may contain small amounts of alpha gal containing additives, stabilizers, or coating. Not all patients with AGS react to the same ingredients. But then if you look down here, this talks about the CDC's Pink Book, their PDF, and the Institute for Vaccine Safety, and they give you a list of vaccines and medications that contain AGS. So, my point in bringing that up and even showing the entire thing from the CDC, the reason that I brought that up is because I wanted you to see the correlation between possibly those who are in charge or your governments coming to tell everybody that you can't eat meat because of this tick. However, they are okay to put whatever the byproduct of this tick that's harming human beings, they're happy to put that into vaccines. And let's also think about the fact that they've been also pushing for us to eat insects. And sounds like the Lone Star tick is an insect to me. So you have to ask yourself these questions about the people that say they care about your safety. Is it that they care about safety or they care about the bottom line, whatever that may be? Let's move on to our third story. Okay, we've got another story, and it's more news about your meat, because our next story is coming to you from CNN, and it's about the FDA approving lab-grown meat for U.S. consumption. Let's find out if your news told you about that. Okay, and you see, it says right here, CNN business, it talks about lab-grown meat is cleared for sale in the United States. Let's go through it. Cultivated meat, also known as lab-grown meat, has been cleared for sale in the United States. So be careful going to get that fast food and what you feed to your kids, unless you don't mind. Upside Down Foods and Good Meat, two companies that make what they call cultivated chicken, said Wednesday that they have gotten approval from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to start producing their cell-based proteins. Good Meat, which is owned by plant-based egg substitute maker Eat Just, said that production is starting immediately. Cultivated or lab-grown meat is grown in a giant vat, much like what you'd find at a beer brewery. I don't know if we're going to want to have that and enjoy that the way some people might enjoy a beer. So you can go ahead and peruse the rest of that CNN article and see exactly what it says about the lab-grown meat and their take on it. But, they say a lot about it being good for the environment because it is plant-based. And like we said before, they are trying to push us to eat bugs. But on the other side of this lab-grown meat and it being good for the environment, we have an article from Epoch Times, because they want to know, let's get that position straight. They want to know if lab-grown artificial meat may actually be worse for the environment. If you want to take your time to subscribe to the Epoch Times, you can certainly look through what they have to say, or you can not take their word for it, not take my word for it, not take CNN's word for it, but do your own due diligence, and you can see what it says about these things once you do your own research and see what the ingredients are. Let's get into the next one. The next story that we have is about the climate lockdowns. There's been a lot of talk about climate lockdowns. It's been touted as conspiracy theory or misinformation. Right here, as you can see, it says Klaus Schwab's daughter says permanent climate lockdowns coming whether you like it or not. But according to Reuters and according to Snopes, this article is fake news. Let's see though if anybody has more to say about it. Okay, right here we have an article from Bloomberg. It looks like there's a paywall, but let's see what we can extract from here. It's actually talking about another country. Let's see what it says. COVID taught nations to shut down. Extreme heat is borrowing the playbook. So remember, this is being touted as conspiracy theory. And there was a lot that was called conspiracy theory that actually became conspiracy fact. So let's see if this is going to do that. But let's go into this article. It says Iran's declaration of a 2-day public holiday over life-threatening heat as temperatures in parts of the country are forecast to touch 122 degrees Fahrenheit is an eerie echo of the restrictions enacted for our COVID protections against the pandemic. It's demonstration of the elevated public health risks caused by climate change that will impose increasingly severe costs on human life and the global economy. The decision to close offices, banks, and the stock exchange on Wednesday and Thursday is likely the first nationwide shutdown in response to extreme heat. So that is going on. That's not in America. That's actually over in Iran. But whatever is done over here seems to be done over there. I mean, we shut down in the U.S. and they shut down all over the world. So let's see if this is another one of those instances. And in case anybody is wondering exactly who the young lady Klaus Schwab's daughter is, Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, the WEF. And those are the same people that told you this. This is the World Economic Forum. These are the people that tell you you will own nothing and be happy. But these are also the same folks that, according to the news outlets, the mainstream media outlets, they told you that this was conspiracy theory. However, you can see this icon right here in the little clear wording. It says World Economic Forum. If you go to their website and you dig deeply, you will find this video, although they had to hide it some because conspiracy theorists were putting the kibosh on their plans and were putting the word out there about this, you'll own nothing and be happy. Let's see if the climate lockdowns are as much fake news as the World Economic Forum saying you'll own nothing and be happy. All right, let's get into another one of our stories. Our final story is your money, because from everything to biometrics to credit cards to bank accounts being closed, we need to discuss this and look a little deeper, because I want to know if your news told you about this, and we need to ask ourselves, could this possibly happen to us, and what we can do to stop it. Let's get into it. Okay, and we're getting into this story, and this comes from AP News, and it says CEO of Royal Banker Coutts resigns amid furor over closure of politician Nigel Farage's account. So basically, Coutts Bank Coutts Bank is a bank in the UK, I believe. They deal with royalty and nobility, and what they've done is they've shut down politician Nigel Farage's bank account because of his political leaning views. Now, that's a little sketchy for a bank to be worrying about what their customers' political views are. But let's just read a little bit of it and see what it has to say. It says London AP, from the London AP. The chief executive of the Coates Bank, long known as the bankers for Britain's royal family and nobility, has stepped down amid the furor surrounding populist politician Nigel Farage's complaints that his account was closed because of his political views. CEO Peter Flavel's resignation came just a day after Coates owner NatWest Group parted ways with its CEO, Alison Rose, the first woman to head the Britain's four big banks. Rose left after acknowledging that she had discussed Farage's personal details with journalists. It's, quote, "In the handling of Mr. Farage's case, we have fallen below the bank's high standards of personal service," Flavel said in a statement. "As CEO of Coates Bank, it is the right that I bear ultimate responsibility for this, which is why I am stepping down." So she takes responsibility for closing this politician's account, but does she take responsibility for telling his personal information? You know, banks are just getting to be a little insidious. And if some of you remember, whether you lean with him or not, rapper Kanye West, his bank account was shut down because of his views. Now, I'm not saying I agree with his views. I'm not saying I disagree with his views. What I am saying is that the bank has no right to be telling anybody what to think. Okay, let's also take a deeper look, because there's more going on if we investigate what's going on with money, because now we're going to look at the biometric aspect. Okay, and this article comes from Motley Fool, and they say right here, new credit cards will scan your fingerprints for safe contactless payments. Biometric credit cards may soon be the norm for safe contactless payments. Find out more about this technology that lets you use your fingerprints. Okay, so it's just telling us to go through this article. You likely have a cell phone that uses biometric technology to keep you and your data connected. You may have heard of it, but biometric credit cards are also the new wave of the future. Yes, they will soon be a reality. In a press release, Samsung and MasterCard announced they are working together to create a biometric credit card. These cards will feature several Samsung's keys, discrete chips, and will work at any point of sale system that accepts MasterCards, as well as MasterCard chip payments. This product will allow for safe, contactless payments. Check out the details of this unique biometric credit card. So they're giving it props. You can go through this article and you can see if this is the way that you want to spend your money, or if you're good with how things are working for you right now and how you've been getting along in the world without this new way of monetary payments, and see if you're down with this new system or you're good with everything going as it's usually has been going. Anyway, you can definitely peruse all these things for yourself and see if your news told you about these things. Now, it's a little tongue-in-cheek because I'm sure your news did mention these things. I'm getting these bits of information from news articles, but they're so quick that they're not really being that in-depth. I think that there's another perspective and another way to look at these things. Hopefully you've enjoyed doing that with me today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this commentary, and you'll be back for more. Thank you so much for joining me. Got t-shirts coming they are definitely here. The shop is set up. So if you enjoy this commentary and you enjoy nostalgia, you enjoy satire, you enjoy political satire, then I've definitely got you and got all of your needs met. You can come on down to Mimi's shop. I'm going to leave all the links. And I do want to thank you again for joining me with Awaken Not Woke. I hope I see you next time. Until then, take care. Oh, and if you like my nails, then I'm definitely going to leave some information on that as well. Take care. Peace.